What would it feel like to live as both a marvel and a misfortune? To have your very existence celebrated and ridiculed in equal measure? In the 17th century, Eugenia Martínez Vallejo became a symbol of fascination, her extraordinary size sparking whispers across Spain and drawing the attention of King Charles II. She was adored for her uniqueness, yet exploited for the same reason. Her life a poignant reminder of humanity's endless struggle to accept what it does not understand. Born into a world steeped in superstition and spectacle, Eugenia's story challenges us to reflect on the treatment of those who stand apart. In her journey from a humble Spanish village to the lavish, unkind halls of the royal court, we find a tale that is both a product of its time and strikingly relevant today. Eugenia's life was extraordinary, not just for her size, but for the questions it raises about power, compassion, and the delicate balance between admiration and exploitation. Eugenia Martínez Vallejo entered the world in 1674 under extraordinary circumstances. Her mother, Antonia, went into labor during Sunday Mass in the village of Barquena de Pienza, a remote settlement in northern Spain. There was no time to return home, and so, amidst the echo of hymns, Eugenia was born in the sacred space of the church. For the deeply religious villagers, this was no accident. It was an omen. A child born in such a setting was believed to be destined for greatness, and the name Eugenia, meaning the well-born, reflected their hopes. Her early months seemed to confirm this promise. Eugenia was robust, healthy, and unusually strong. In an era when infant mortality was tragically common, her vitality was a blessing. But as time passed, her parents began to notice something unusual. Eugenia's appetite seemed insatiable, and her growth far exceeded that of other children. By her first birthday, she weighed nearly 20 kilos, more than twice the weight of most infants her age. Concerned but hopeful, her parents sought help from local healers and physicians. However, medicine in 17th century rural Spain was often a mix of superstition and guesswork. The doctors could offer no explanation, only advice to moderate her diet, a suggestion that did little to slow her rapid growth. As her size continued to draw attention, the family's once quiet life became fraught with curiosity and judgment. In the small village of Barquena de Pienza, difference was not celebrated. Neighbors whispered about the giant child, and strangers traveled from nearby towns to catch a glimpse of her. What began as curiosity soon turned to ridicule. Eugenia's parents, desperate to shield her, kept her indoors as much as possible. But the rumors had already begun to spread, traveling far beyond the dusty streets of their village. Unbeknownst to her family, those whispers would soon reach the royal court in Madrid, where they would change Eugenia's life forever. By the age of 6, Eugenia Martínez Vallejo's name had become a legend. Tales of her extraordinary size and rapid growth spread across the Spanish countryside, eventually reaching the ears of King Charles II. Known as El Hechizado, or the Bewitched, Charles was a ruler steeped in superstition and mysticism. He was deeply intrigued by anything that defied the natural order, and the idea of a giant girl born in a small village piqued his curiosity. The king sent a royal messenger to summon Eugenia to his court in Madrid. For her parents, this was a moment of profound conflict. On one hand, they feared losing their daughter to a world they could not comprehend. On the other, they saw an opportunity for protection, care, and perhaps even a cure for her condition. But the king's summons was not a request, it was an order. Reluctantly, they agreed. When Eugenia arrived at the royal court, she was an immediate sensation. The royal tailors quickly crafted an elaborate dress to showcase her size at her first court appearance. Chroniclers of the time recorded the event with fascination, describing her as a marvel of nature. One noted that her arrival was celebrated as a prodigy that had been gifted to the king's court. For Charles II, Eugenia was not merely a child. She was a living example of nature's unpredictability, a spectacle to be marveled at. The king decreed that Eugenia would remain in Madrid, becoming part of the court's gente de place, or people of pleasure. This group, common in European courts, included jesters, dwarfs, and others with unique physical traits, all kept for the amusement of the nobility. For Eugenia, this marked the beginning of a life in which she would be admired, mocked, and exploited in equal measure. The royal court of Madrid was a world of splendor and excess, but for Eugenia it was also a place of profound alienation. As a member of the Gente de Place, her role was to entertain the nobility. Her difference turned into a source of amusement. She became a central figure at court gatherings, where her size was treated as a curiosity. Ladies of the court, eager to emphasize their own beauty, insisted on being painted beside her, using her as a living contrast to their slender figures. These paintings, like much of Eugenia's life at court, were both a reflection of admiration and exploitation. Among them, two portraits stand out: La monstrua vestida, the monster clothed, and La monstrua desnuda, the monster undressed. Painted by the renowned artist Juan Carreno de Miranda, these works capture Eugenia's physical presence, but also hint at her humanity. Her expression, subdued and downcast, speaks of a girl resigned to her role as a living spectacle. Despite the ridicule she endured, life at court offered Eugenia privileges she would never have known in her village. She was well fed, dressed in fine clothing, and provided with a level of care unimaginable to rural peasants. Yet these comforts came at the expense of her dignity. Eugenia lived at the mercy of the king's whims, her existence shaped entirely by the desires of those around her. Her story at court forces us to confront a difficult question: was this a better life than the one she left behind? In her village, she was ridiculed and ostracized. In the court, she was celebrated and cared for, but only as long as she fulfilled her role as an object of fascination. For Eugenia, it seems, there was no true refuge, only different shades of cruelty. Centuries after Eugenia Martínez Vallejo's death, modern medicine offers a possible explanation for her extraordinary condition. Today, many medical experts speculate that Eugenia may have suffered from Prader-Willi syndrome, a rare genetic disorder caused by abnormalities on chromosome 15. This condition is characterized by insatiable hunger, rapid weight gain, and hormonal imbalances, all of which align closely with historical descriptions of Eugenia. Accounts from her time describe a young girl whose appetite seemed endless and whose body grew at an alarming rate. By the age of 1, she weighed as much as a child several years older, and her size continued to increase throughout her life. Prader-Willi syndrome often manifests in this way, causing extreme difficulties with mobility, energy, and overall health. Additionally, individuals with this disorder often exhibit distinctive physical traits, such as short stature, small hands and feet, and light skin, all of which were noted in contemporary descriptions of Eugenia. However, in 17th century Spain, such a condition would have been entirely misunderstood. Medicine at the time was deeply intertwined with superstition and lacked the diagnostic tools of modern science. Eugenia's condition was seen not as a medical anomaly, but as a marvel of nature, a mystery that defied explanation. While her parents sought help from local healers and physicians, the treatments they received were rudimentary at best, offering no real relief. Eugenia's case highlights the profound limitations of medicine in her time, but it also underscores a timeless truth: the importance of compassion for those who are different. Even today, individuals with rare conditions often face misunderstanding and marginalization. Eugenia's story reminds us of how far we've come, and how far we still have to go in creating a world that values dignity as much as discovery. Eugenia Martínez Vallejo's life was brief. She passed away in 1699 at just 24 years old, likely due to complications from her condition. Yet her story did not fade into obscurity. Two portraits painted by the court artist Juan Carreno de Miranda, La monstrua vestida and La monstrua desnuda, remain as lasting testaments to her life. Today, these works are displayed side by side in Madrid's Museo del Prado, where they continue to captivate visitors from around the world. The portraits are more than just artistic achievements. They are historical artifacts that challenge us to confront the humanity behind Eugenia's role as a court spectacle. In 1997, the Spanish city of Avila honored Eugenia in a surprising way. A bronze statue inspired by one of her portraits was erected in the Barrio Marinero de Sabugo, created by the sculptor Amado González Hevia. The statue depicts Eugenia in the iconic pose captured by Carreno de Miranda, preserving her likeness not as an object of ridicule but as a figure of historical significance. Nearby, a street named after Carreno de Miranda ensures that both the artist and his subject remain part of Spain's cultural memory. Eugenia's story raises questions that are as relevant today as they were centuries ago. How do we treat those who are different? Do we celebrate their uniqueness, or do we exploit it for our own gain? Her life reminds us of the delicate balance between fascination and empathy, between marveling at the extraordinary and respecting the individual. Her legacy is a call to reflection. Eugenia Martínez Vallejo may have lived her life as a spectacle, but in remembering her, we are invited to look beyond her size, beyond her circumstances, and see her as she was, a human being deserving of dignity and understanding. Eugenia Martínez Vallejo's life is not just a story about the past, it is a story about us. It reveals the ways in which society has long struggled to reconcile its fascination with the extraordinary with its failure to treat it with kindness. Eugenia's journey from a humble village to the royal court is a reminder that behind every so-called marvel lies a human being with hopes, fears, and a life as complex as our own. Her story forces us to ask difficult but necessary questions. How do we respond to difference? Do we see it as a spectacle, or do we embrace it with empathy? Eugenia's life may have been shaped by the circumstances of her time, but its lessons are timeless. She challenges us to move beyond curiosity and to embrace the values of respect and understanding that define a truly humane society. What do you think? Was Eugenia's life in the royal court a blessing, a curse, or something more complicated? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an exploration into the forgotten lives of history. Thank you for joining us on this journey. And remember, history isn't just about the past, it's about the lessons we carry forward into the future.